For over 30 years, the Lineweaver Financial Group has helped position our clients for financial success. Call us for a second opinion on your portfolio and discover the Lineweaver difference for yourself.
From the Lineweaver Wealth Watch Center, this is the Financial Quarterback.
I'm Jim Lineweaver, your financial quarterback since 1993. The housing market has been on a hot streak for more than a decade, and it seemed like it was never going to slow down. But prices have been consistently high and inventory low. So here to give us an update and insight in the real estate market is Justin Weseloh. He's with Keller Williams Luxury. So Justin, where do we get started?
Thanks, Jim. You're right. Inventory has been low and remains tight nationally. We've finally seen some light with inventory up about 20% year over year, although that number is lower than the average, about 20 to 30% below, according to a report from JP Chase. For the 4 or so years before that, it was even more challenging, with buyers getting discouraged, as frequently offers were lost.
I think we've all heard those stories over the last few years. It was really a seller's market with buyers having to waive inspections, offer cash, make offers over asking, and even to fill appraisal gaps.
Yes, but fortunately, over the last year or so, things have seemed to even out a bit. Today, we are seeing increased inventory, and there's also 19% more homes under contract now than there were a year ago, a sign that supply and demand are at least beginning to become more matched.
The other thing that has been challenging for the real estate market are the higher interest rates that we've seen over the last few years, especially after the record low interest rates that we had during COVID.
Jim, for those who bought during COVID, 6 to 7% interest rates could seem very high. But historically, they're pretty typical, and they help balance supply and demand. For those who are still sensitive to interest rates, many mortgage companies have rolled out what they're calling a 3-2-1 buy-down, where loan interest rates are reduced by 3% in the first year, 2% the second year, and 1% in the third. For example, a 6% mortgage would be just 3% in year one.
These programs essentially allow you to prepay the interest, and while they're not necessarily a long-term solution for higher interest rates, they can be really helpful.
That's really true, and interest rates do continue to suppress markets. However, tools like the 3-2-1 buy-down in the hands of a competent realtor can be another negotiating tool, with the buyer actually buying down their rate and getting the seller to offer concessions.
And I also understand that there's been some changes to the real estate laws that have come out in the last year or so.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. That's very true. And although some of the media portrayed this as a negative for real estate professionals, an opportunity for sellers to even net more than they already had, what has actually happened is quite beneficial and important. Buyer representation and compensation transparency is now required when working with a real estate professional. This is a good thing for buyers, and I think for our industry.
It's actually good for every industry. So Justin, thanks so much for joining us and giving us some insight into the real estate markets. So if you're ready to buy or sell your home, give them a call. If you want to know how your portfolio can benefit from real estate, give us a call. We're always here to help. Here's Fox News Sunday.